From Queen commanding 72,000 people with a single word to Slipknot unleashing a wall of death that shook the earth, and Green Day turning random kids into rock stars live on stage. These are the most unforgettable crowd participation moments in rock history. But one of these moments was so chaotic, security begged the band to stop, and the band refused. Can you guess which band that was? Number 15, Queen's I.O. at Live Aid, 1985. One voice, one crowd, one of the greatest moments in rock history. It was 1985. Live Aid had already delivered huge performances from the biggest names in music, but then Queen took the stage, and Freddie Mercury turned a global audience into his choir. Wearing a white tank top and gripping his mic stand like a scepter, he shouted, "I.O.!" The crowd shouted it right back, louder than anyone expected. And another. Each time, the crowd matched him note for note. 75,000 voices moving in perfect unison, all synced to Freddie's rhythm. It was part concert, part spiritual event, and everyone watching, whether in Wembley or on television, felt like they were part of something historic. To this day, no call and response moment comes close. Freddie didn't just perform, he conducted humanity. That A.O. echoes through time as the gold standard for crowd interaction. But while Queen soared with unity, Metallica unleashes raw chaos every time Seek and Destroy rips through the air. Number 14. Metallica's Seek and Destroy chant wave. When Metallica drops Seek and Destroy, it's not just a song, it's a battle cry. The lights go low, the riff kicks in, that iconic chugging buildup, and then James Hetfield leans into the mic and growls, "Seek and Destroy!" The response? A wave of thousands screaming it right back, fists flying in the air like a military chant. Whether it's a sweaty indoor arena or a packed festival ground, the crowd transforms into a synchronized army of headbangers. It's organized chaos. A call and response that feels like a war drum summoning the masses. Metallica doesn't even need to sing parts of the song anymore. The fans do it for them.
All right, Seek and Destroy!
At some shows, Hetfield lets the crowd take over the entire chorus, just grinning as tens of thousands belted out louder than the PA system. It's brutal. It's beautiful. It's what happens when metal meets mass devotion. And speaking of involving the fans, Green Day doesn't just invite the crowd to sing, they hand them guitars and make them the star of the show. Number 13. Green Day, bringing kids on stage to play guitar. Billy Joe Armstrong doesn't just connect with the crowd, he hands them the damn spotlight. During Green Day's live shows, there's a tradition that fans hope for every night. Someone from the crowd gets pulled on stage to play guitar with the band. Sometimes it's a teen, sometimes it's a total newbie, but every time, it's unforgettable. Billy Joe scans the crowd during songs like Knowledge or Long View. And once he spots someone ready to rock, he points, calls them up, and hands them his guitar. The band keeps playing. The kid shreds, sometimes surprisingly well, and the crowd erupts like it's their biggest hero. Then, the moment of truth. You get to keep the guitar. Cheers, tears, viral clip guaranteed. Green Day turns a concert into a life-changing moment. And for that lucky kid, it's not just a song, it's the night they became a rock star. But if you think that's wild, wait until you hear how Linkin Park gave the mic to a fan mid-show for a freestyle in front of thousands. Number 12. Linkin Park, letting a fan freestyle bleed it out. Chester Bennington didn't just break boundaries, he broke the fourth wall. At a Linkin Park show in the early 2000s, they were ripping through Bleed It Out, a high-octane, crowd-hyping anthem already known for its infectious chorus. But mid-song, Chester did something no one expected. He held out the mic and invited a random fan from the front row to come up and freestyle. The kid was stunned, but when he grabbed the mic, he delivered. A full-blown freestyle verse, right there in front of tens of thousands. The band hyped him, the crowd exploded, and Chester smiled ear to ear, nodding along. It was raw, unscripted, and the definition of community. That moment, captured on shaky phone cams and YouTube uploads, became one of Linkin Park's most shared live clips ever. And it showed how seriously they took their fans. Not just as spectators, but as part of the band's DNA. But if that was a spiritual moment, Nirvana had a haunting one when Kurt dropped the mic, and the crowd kept singing without him. Number 11. Nirvana fans singing entire song after Kurt dropped mic. No vocals, no instructions, just pure connection. At a legendary Nirvana show in the early 90s, Kurt Cobain's mic suddenly cut out mid-song. Or maybe he just dropped it. Either way, something magical happened. The crowd didn't miss a beat. They kept singing, word for word, like it was burned into their bones. You could hear it in the recording. An entire arena chanting the lyrics to Lithium without any backing vocals, just drums, guitar, and 20,000 voices echoing every line. Kurt stood back, guitar slung low, watching with that crooked smirk like, "Y'all got this." It was a moment that showed just how deep the connection was. Nirvana wasn't just a band. They were the voice of a generation, and their fans carried that torch even in silence. It wasn't rehearsed, it wasn't forced, it was real, raw, and unforgettable, just like you subscribing to our channel right now. And while that moment gave us chills, Rage Against the Machine took things in the opposite direction. With a crowd surge so wild, the earth practically shook. Number 10. Rage Against the Machine's crowd surge at Reading. It wasn't just a concert, it was an uprising. When Rage Against the Machine headlined Reading Festival, they didn't come to play it safe. From the moment Tom Morello's guitar screeched open and Zach De La Rocha screamed into the mic, the crowd detonated. But the peak? That came during Killing in the Name. As the breakdown built up, the entire festival grounds became a living, breathing wave of bodies, all pulsing forward like a single organism. People were jumping, moshing, crowd surfing, and just plain losing their minds. When Zach screamed, "F duo, you, I won't do what you tell me." The crowd screamed it back with even more fire. It was pure electricity, rage, rebellion, release, all rolled into one moment. Security couldn't contain it. The pit spilled out wider and wider like a riot set to a rhythm. Reading that year proved one thing. Rage doesn't just perform, they provoke. And if you thought that was wild, wait till you survive Slipknot's infamous jump the F you up moment. Number 9. Slipknot's jump the F up wall of death. When Corey Taylor speaks, metalheads move. At Slipknot shows, there's one moment that separates the crowd from the survivors, the infamous jump the F up command. It usually happens during songs like Spit It Out, and it starts like this. Corey Taylor gets the entire crowd to crouch down low. Thousands of sweaty, aggressive fans, all squatting in the dirt, waiting. Then Corey whispers, "Not until I say, not until I say." The tension is unreal. Drums rattle, guitars drone, and then, boom! Corey yells, "Jump the F up!" And a tidal wave of bodies launches into the air. It's not just a mosh pit, it's a shockwave of chaos. That moment is burned into the memory of every metal fan who's ever braved the pit. It's intense, it's terrifying, and it's legendary. And speaking of legendary, Dave Grohl once handed the sticks to a 10-year-old kid, and the internet exploded. Number 8. Foo Fighters letting a 10-year-old drummer take over. One kid, one drum kit, one moment that rocked the world. At a Foo Fighters concert in 2018, Dave Grohl spotted a young fan named Collier holding a sign, "Can I play drums?" Most frontmen would smile and move on. But Grohl? He brought the kid on stage. They kicked into Everlong, and Collier, this tiny blonde-haired drummer, started playing like he was born to be behind the kit. Tight timing, big fills, zero fear. The crowd lost their minds. Dave was floored, even joking that he was going to retire and let the kid take over. The video went viral instantly, racking up millions of views and turning Collier into a mini rock legend. But more than that, it showed why fans love Grohl. He knows how to share the spotlight, to turn a concert into something unforgettable. And while Foo Fighters lift kids up, U2 has a habit of pulling fans into the spotlight for emotional sing-along. Number 7. U2, pulling fan up to sing with or without you. Sometimes Bono steps back and lets a fan steal the show. During U2's massive world tours, there's a tradition that hardcore fans wait for. The moment Bono reaches into the crowd and invites someone on stage to sing with him. And when it's with or without you, it hits different. One night, Bono pulled up a fan with a sign that simply said, "I can sing it." The guy was shaking, overwhelmed. But as the music kicked in, something magical happened. He nailed it. Voice, cracking with emotion, but full of heart. The crowd lit up like a Christmas tree. Bono backed off, letting the fan have his moment in front of thousands. And when the chorus hit, everyone sang along, together, arm in arm, phones in the air. It was one of those moments where the line between band and fan disappears and all that's left is the music. But no one makes fans feel like family quite like Bruce Springsteen, who's known for pulling them on stage to dance in the dark. Number 6. Bruce Springsteen dancing with fans. When the boss plays, you're not just watching a show, you're in it. For decades, Bruce Springsteen has been known for turning every concert into a full-on celebration of community. But nothing captures that vibe like his tradition of pulling fans on stage to dance. It started back in the 80s with Dancing in the Dark, when he famously brought a young Courtney Cox on stage for an impromptu groove. Since then, it's become a beloved ritual. At every show, fans hold signs begging to dance. And Bruce? He always picks someone, young or old, dressed to impress, or wearing muddy boots, and spins them into the spotlight. It's pure joy. No barriers, just a rock legend sharing a once-in-a-lifetime moment with a fan. The band keeps playing, the crowd goes wild, and someone gets to live their Bruce dream, if only for a verse. But if Springsteen brings the feels, Iron Maiden brings the thunder, especially when a stadium full of South American fans starts screaming every lyric louder than the band itself. Number 5. Iron Maiden crowd chant-alongs in South America. In South America, Iron Maiden concerts feel more like holy ceremonies than rock shows. When Maiden tours Brazil, Argentina, or Chile, the energy is absolutely unhinged. Picture a crowd of 80,000 fans, not just singing the lyrics, but screaming them like it's gospel. And not just during the chorus, the entire song, start to finish. One of the most spine-tingling moments, when Maiden launched into Fear of the Dark in Sao Paulo and the crowd was so loud, Bruce Dickinson literally stepped back from the mic. The band kept playing and the fans took over, chanting every word, every guitar line, even the melody itself. It wasn't just participation, it was devotion, goosebumps, fire in the air, and the band, they ate it up. Bruce even called it the loudest crowd we've ever played to. Iron Maiden doesn't just have fans, they have an army. And speaking of armies, Mötley Crüe had glam rock fans screaming war cries with their chant along to Shout at the Devil. Number 4. Mötley Crüe's Shout at the Devil chant takeover. When glam metal met rebellion, Shout at the Devil became its anthem, and fans knew every damn word. In the height of their debauchery-filled reign, Mötley Crüe shows were part concert, part riot, with fans dressed in leather, hairspray, and eyeliner, ready to scream their lungs out. But nothing unified the madness like Shout at the Devil. As the drums pounded and Mick Mars's guitar wailed, Vince Neil would scream the opening line, then hold out the mic, and the crowd would explode back with shout. The entire arena pulsing like a glam metal cult. The call and response would go on for minutes. Fans pounding fists, chanting like it was a religious ritual for sinners. For a moment, it felt like the entire arena belonged to them. It was more than a hit. It was a declaration of wild, unapologetic chaos. But just when you think a show can't get any more unpredictable, the Red Hot Chili Peppers pause mid-set for a real deal wedding proposal. Number 3. Red Hot Chili Peppers mid-song wedding proposal. Sometimes a concert doesn't just change your night, it changes your life. At a Chili Peppers show in the early 2000s, things were rolling as usual. Funky grooves, shirtless chaos, Flea bouncing around like a maniac. Then, mid-set, Anthony Kiedis suddenly stopped everything. He pointed into the crowd. A guy was holding a sign. "Let me propose on stage." The band waved him up. The crowd roared. And next thing you know, he's on one knee in front of thousands, ring in hand. The woman said yes. The crowd exploded. And RHCP kicked right back into the set like nothing happened. It was wild, romantic, total rock show whiplash. But more than anything, it was a reminder that live music can be deeply personal. That moment went viral, hit every music blog, and became a core memory for two people and everyone who witnessed it. And just when you thought that was the peak of fan love, Pearl Jam topped it with a moment so personal, they stopped the whole show. Number 2. Pearl Jam stopping the show to sign a fan's arm. Most bands don't stop a song mid-show, but Pearl Jam isn't most bands. During a stadium show, Eddie Vedder noticed a fan holding a sign that read, "Will you sign my arm so I can get it tattooed?" And right in the middle of a song, he stopped everything. Vedder leaned down, pulled the fan on stage, and signed his name across the kid's forearm with a Sharpie. The crowd was stunned, then exploded with cheers. It was a simple gesture, but it showed that Pearl Jam sees their fans, not just as faces in the crowd, but as people. The fan later got the signature tattooed, just like he said. The video went viral, and the moment became part of Pearl Jam's legacy of loyalty, humanity, and heart. And finally, we end with a quieter, more emotional moment. A band that took a fan request seriously and created something unforgettable on the spot. Number 1. The Killers covering a fan-requested song live. Some moments aren't loud, they're real. At a Killers concert, a fan held up a hand-painted sign that read, "Play my late brother's favorite song." It wasn't one of the band's biggest hits, but Brandon Flowers saw it. He paused, walked to the edge of the stage, and nodded. Then the band started playing it, on the fly, unrehearsed. The crowd grew silent. Phones went up, the fans sobbed, and everyone in that arena felt it. A shared, human moment that reached beyond the music. No pyro, no stage dive, just a quiet tribute that proved something deeper: rock still listens. The crowd sang the chorus back with reverence, and the entire place became one voice. It's not the flashiest entry on this list, but maybe the most powerful. These were the most unforgettable crowd participation moments in rock history. Comment below. Which one gave you chills? Or better yet, were you there when it happened? Tell us your story. Make sure to subscribe to the channel and send this to a rock fan who lives for the chaos, the energy, and the unity of the pit. And if this got your heart pounding, you have to see the 15 underrated guitarists who changed rock forever. Click the video on screen. Some of these names will blow your mind.